I'm Jim Eisenmenger,
I'm Jenny.
and we're here to talk a little bit about the How to Neighbor series and our experience with building relationships with people that you might call outcasts or the world calls outcasts. And we found that everything changes for us as we start to call them friends, and as things really change, the relationship really develops. One of our favorite sayings from a book by Shane Claiborne says the problem isn't that rich people don't care about poor people, it's that rich people don't know poor people. And that's been our experience as we've built relationships, as we've had interactions that create a real intense, close, personal bond. Everything changes in our outlook.
Right. So for us, that's happened through our involvement with musicians, through having our home music venue, and then also Audio Feed Music Festival, and also our involvement with See You at Home here in Champaign, and our work with, I go in every week just to be part of that community and just kind of do life with the people there.
And one of my experiences, a story I tell sometimes at Audio Feed, our first year, for anyone not familiar with it, it's a music festival, over 100 bands, 1,500 people, camping. We had a lost kid on the grounds, and long story short, once we found the kid, I had rounded up people to help. People fanned out through the grounds, and once we found the boy, I was going back and stopped and told a group of guys that was fanning out looking that, hey, we found him, and I kind of cracked, and my voice cracked. It was kind of an emotional time, and one of them in particular just said, hey, we need to pray for this brother, and pulled me around and prayed for me. It was just a powerful, powerful moment. And I asked where the guy was. Next year I knew his friends, or recognized his friends, and they said, well, he's back in drug rehab. He really loves Jesus. He just can't get away from the drugs. And suddenly everything was different, because I knew him and I knew he loved me, and I cared about him because of that one personal interaction. And suddenly he isn't a drug addict. I'm not skeptical that, oh sure, he loves Jesus but can't get right. I know those people. Well, he was someone I loved. And that is where we need to be.
Right. And we have that repeatedly. We could choose to stay in a box that's safe, but what we found is that the Lord's call to love Him first and then love our neighbor as ourself is really, it brings us into a whole new way to live that is so, it takes us into things that maybe aren't as safe, but there's so much more, it adds so much to our lives. And it's not that we have a whole lot to offer to anyone except for whatever is reflected of Christ in us. But I don't feel like I have to solve all of my other friends' problems. So what I've realized is I just need to go in loving people like Christ loved, extending a lot of grace like I have been a recipient of. And pretty soon you find out that these relationships are not one-sided, but are really enriching to our lives. And it's been enriching for our kids, and a much better way to live than sort of isolated without a lot of community.
Doing more than just surviving.